PR, which is a distinct field, is very lacking, I think, in Trinidad. I don't think we even have any fashion PR firm, and a lot of brands, they kind of outsource a PR person only if they're having an event, and use them as someone to get media coverage. So they're more like a media specialist than being a PR person. But in terms of being a business owner, I think everybody should be familiar with what PR is so they could enforce certain strategies to push their own brand. So essentially what public relation aims to do is understand public perception towards a certain brand, product, idea. So essentially, lifestyle industries per se, they're highly influenced by public opinion. And in order to be successful, we need to have consumers having a positive perception of us and our brand. And if you look at someone like Tribe, Carnival band as well, people love them. All the tourists flock to them, and it's because they have consistently delivered a product that the consumer wants. And not only that, they take the feedback of their consumers to heart. Unlike maybe other brands that notice problems and they really do nothing to remedy it or rectify it. So we need to be very aware of what the public opinions are towards our brand. So we need to start taking a lot more into account the opinions of our public. So the perceptions don't only influence the styles and the color and the designs that are going to be used, but it actually affects the company itself. So like I said, and I love using my Apple example. I don't work for Apple, but I would recommend everybody to get an Apple because I actually think they're the best, and whatever Apple says, I believe them because I believe in the brand, believe in the product. And to all you Samsung users, no, iPhone is better. My brother is Samsung, and he will always call me and be like, no, my Samsung is better, you could do this, your iPhone can't do that. I'm like, no. And I will fight down why your argument does not work, and that's the kind of consumer you want. Essentially, someone that will fight to defend your brand, public. And your brand is just like a person, treated the same way. If you neglect it, if you don't feed it and water it and invest in its education, etc., your brand will turn into a little delinquent that will eventually be pushed off the market, for lack of a better way to put it. So it's our consumers' perception of us that's going to keep us in business. So the other thing with PR is that you really need to use the media to your advantage, and you need to make sure you have a nice mix of mediums, and we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll look at ways we could categorize the media. So public relations, like I said, it underscores advertising and promotion, and they all need to coexist to really get the best bang out of your buck. Advertising is not cheap. It's really expensive. So it's good to have PR campaign flanking that. For example, if you do have a celebrity that you want to attach to your product, the media will want to cover that story because it's new. So essentially, the PR that will go behind the advertising campaign will also be like free publicity, especially if the reporter gives a good report or review of your brand. So we really want to make sure that we have the PR to flank the advertising so we can get a better return on our investment. So the other thing we need to figure out is public relations. We need to figure out who our publics are. People are only catering for the customer, and they're not the only public. Publics include your staff, investors, the community that you operate in, the people around that too. Because your community can make or break your company if you don't like them. And I always think of TCL as an example because I work there, the cement company. See, people around there, you know, there's a lot of air pollution and stuff. Before people would complain a lot, but then the company really gave back. So there's a lot of people in the community that actually work there. They have parks, they throw Christmas parties for the community, they give donations to homes in need, etc. So they really empower the community to a large extent. They have, they do a lot like landscaping, something like you see on the way to Maracas, and they have the signs that advertise little things, and we take care of this little spot, etc. So all of those are nice little ways, initiatives you can do for PR. Find a spot and grow a little garden. Put your store logo next to it. It does look like you're giving back to the community. So we want to understand who our publics are. They're also the people that supply you with your garments, whether they're manufacturers, your textile distributors, and that kind of stuff. So one way you could classify your public, and we can look at the consumer in this end, is within the consumer base itself, you may want to divide your consumer into like high-end customers, middle-income customers, and mass market customers, simply because the way that you will target each group will be a little bit different. So for example, for the high-end consumers, you might need to have some kind of charity or event, maybe a visible billboard in a reputable area or an area where there are a lot of executives or professionals or something like that, and they would respond to that. In terms of middle income consumers, they generally tend to get a lot of their information from newspapers, etc. So you might want to get the message to them there. So it's really just understanding the difference in consumer, how they access information, so that we can get the message to them as best as possible. We can also do community PR, and this is a lot easier for us, simply because our media is very underdeveloped. We don't really have fashion shows or radio programs. Magazines are a little bit inconsistent, and then at the end of the day, magazine will only come out maybe once a month or quarterly or biannually, which isn't fast enough. But there's not really any kind of media hub that specifically covers fashion and lifestyle. We still watch ETV a lot more, favorite blogs, because there really is no programming on local fashion. So using those media outlets usually aren't as effective in any regard. Right, for right now. Hopefully they'll develop soon. So community PR methods work a lot better, and as the name suggests, its focus is on improving the opinion of your brand and products through direct community initiatives and engaging in that. So it's not something you need to do all, but you should be consistent. So let's say you do like a toy drive every year for Christmas. Let's keep doing that every Christmas. Consumers get accustomed to consistency.